What's up, y'all? So today on Resse Resse podcast, I'm giving, this is an advice. This is my advice segment. This is for you all the young teenagers and young tweens that are out there. These are just tips to help y'all go through, and these are problems that y'all go through that and you just need advice about. So with that being said, let's get started. Anger and violence. Aggression and violence. Aggression is a concern with teenage boys a lot. Young boys start to develop, muscles. Like when you grow, when you growing and stuff, you gonna get muscles. You go tall. You have just like a lot of pent up violence in you, and many voices add to that they are moody, and well, young teenage boys and girls, they all could be moody. That's why parents, it's important. Parents, it's important to check in with your kids, ask them about how their days are going, ask them about what they learned in school, ask them if anybody is bullying or harassing them, because you want to keep an update on your kid, because if something happen, you might, if something happens to them, and you probably feel bad that you don't know, so you have to just do weekly check-in with your kids to let them know, and let them know that they can come and talk to you about anything. If you don't have a parent around, just go to like somebody that you can trust, like your uncle, aunties, older brothers, older sisters, cousins. You just go to somebody and talk to them, because that's how you can get your frustration out. If you go to somebody, just talk to them. Nobody not gonna know nothing if you don't talk to them. Because like teenage boys and girls can be moody and vulnerable. They can let things get to their skin, because like you gotta teach your kids. Yeah, it's some hating, jealous people out here that tell them that they cannot impress everyone. You're gonna have some people that you like and some people you just don't like. That's how life goes. Life wasn't made for you to be friends with everybody. It's certain people that you can be friends with, certain people you just can't be friends with. Because I was just talking about this yesterday at Target with somebody, when I said that you have to have a vibe with somebody. That's what I said, you can't hang out with everybody. If that person you have a good vibe with that person, then you could hang out with them. But if you see somebody with a weird vibe, that automatically turns you off. So you have to go with your you have to go with your gut instinct, and not you can't be able to mess with that person if you know that their vibes are weird. Cause I was just telling this to somebody the other day, I think, about you have to vibe with people. Like I said, I vibe with straight people. I'm not the vibe with everybody type of person. And you have to teach your kids that you can't vibe with everybody. Just like with all this stuff in the news and stuff about these so-called friends sabotaging people. And also you have to know who your kids hanging around with. You gotta tell your kids, I'm gonna meet your friends. If they gonna be around you, tell your friends that tell your kids that you need to meet their friends. Cause y'all might think that they're trying to ruin your life, but parents obviously know when somebody is bad company for you. Because parents tell you that parents able to spot out them are not your real friends. Parents know when somebody is not your real friend. And tell your friends that they can't, about peer pressure. Somebody pressuring them to drink and stuff. Tell them that they don't have to take it, because you don't have to do stuff to look cool. Be your own authentic self. That's what can get you in life, being authentic. That's how you can know who your real friends are versus who are not really down for you. And you know, we're gonna, because of all these cases going on, you heard about the girl, Shanquella, who she went to Cabo with her friends, and they basically, I'm telling y'all, they basically set that girl up. Cause they said how you put, they were fighting her and she was naked. They were telling her to fight back, but she couldn't. That's what they knew. They ambushed that girl. They knew she wasn't a fighter. They tricked her into believing that they were her real friends. All of them are fake and phony, and what they did to that girl is horrific, and all of them people deserve jail time. And her mother, you just pray out to the mother, the father, and the whole family, because it's a very sad situation. And I know that she probably trusted them people, and she probably met them people, and she thought that those was her daughter, real friends. And the really sad part, the fucked up part about the situation is they left the girl in Cabo, and they lied to her mom and told her that she had alcohol poisoning. But meanwhile, they broke that girl's spine and stuff, and and you saw the girl body slam her to the floor, and she never woke back up. It's just sad out here. You have to be mindful of who your kids be with. You have to tell your friend that everybody's not your friends. And it's okay to have less friends. You don't need to have a whole lot of friends. It's okay to have less friends. And I repeat, it's okay to have less friends. With less friends, you have less problems. And as teenage boys can get into fights, that's cool. But the girls, boys and teenage boys can get into fights, that's cool. Because boys can fight and they can make up the next day. Girls, however, they fight and they gonna keep fighting. Because like what they say on the TV show, girls and females in general, they fight a lot, especially when you have a lot of females around. It's obviously gonna be a fight. Because boys are able to move on faster than girls are. That's been proven. In the high school, the elementary schools, guys can fight and you can be like, that's your bro the next day. But with a girl, they gonna fight and they gonna keep on the fight. And said the girls, it's like when I was in school, the girls was fighting bad, worse than the boys was fighting. With the kicking and stumping each other out and slamming each other's heads and stuff. It was just a lot going on. And kicking people in the face with shoes and stuff. It was just a lot of stuff going on. But you just have to know your teenagers do fight at school because, of course, we know teenagers fight. Worse, they could start bullying each other. That's when you have to step in. Because you have to let your kids know it's never okay to bully someone. It's because they look different than you or they have different stuff than you. Treat everyone the same. Boys might fall into bad company like girls do. We said that because when you hanging around you're the product of your environment. So if you hanging around with certain people, somebody gonna automatically think you roll that way. Don't hang out with the gangsters if you're not gangsters. It's like we said, don't be talking stuff online because guys, teach your kids not to social tweet either. But teach them if you're gonna talk to stuff, you have to stand in the stuff. Like I said, if you're gonna talk shit, you have to know how to be prepared for consequences. Cause everybody's not playing. Your kids might be playing, but other people not playing. If you're gonna talk to shit, you have to stand in the shit. Tell your kids that if you're gonna talk stuff, you have to be prepared for somebody wanting to get up with you. And y'all know we don't promote violence here on here, but sometimes people deserve a good knockdown. Cause you're gonna talk this shit, you have to be able to. If you're gonna talk shit, you got to be able to know. You got to be able to know what's gonna happen to you. So, in further words, don't social tweet. If you gotta send direct. You gotta let the person know directly you talking about them. Don't be social tweeting us, this and all the other stuff. We don't do that. We don't do all of that. You be direct with it. And we're telling teens and tweens. We're saying that we don't promote violence, but say that some people just deserve to get knocked out sometimes. That's just the honest truth. We speak the real here. Nothing is fake, fraud, phony. We speak all the real facts over here. But you just teach your kids not to bully people. Cause many teenage boys fall into bad company just like girls might draw out to violence, aggression. This can be easily swift toward them owning their own firearms and guns, trying to act tough. And so we're gonna get into this. Teach your kids that playing with guns is not really cool, because that's how accidents start when you start playing with guns. You don't need to act cool or look cool. Saying playing with guns is not acting, it's not being cool. That is not cool. So, just teach your kids that. And when you playing with guns, they can result in serious consequences, like including death. According to WHO's report, the violence caused around 180 teenager deaths around the world. Teenage girls are likely to suffer from violence or aggressiveness by a partner. Child tends to imitate what they see at home. This what goes back to you have to watch what kind of stuff goes on in your house, because your kids imitate stuff. Because with the cursing, when kids hear you curse, they start cursing. So you have to know what to do in front of your kids, and how to talk and how to be in front of your kids, because kids imitate what they see. Kids just don't wake up one day and want to do the stuff. They've seen it for a few years, so they know how to imitate it. The following problems with teenagers, that can help it. The teenagers with aggression and violence and related issues. These are problems that can help your teenagers with these issues with violence, aggression issues. Teach your kids to be kind and considerate. Nature relationships at home can help them become less aggressive. Prevent access to firearms, alcohol early, prevent violence. Teach them life skills. Improve competition. Lead them to be their own role models. Avoid exposing them to violent stories, video games at early age where they cannot discriminate between what's right and what's wrong. I sum it up basically that kids see what's going on. It's like they see you're a product of your environment. When you see shit that goes on at home, you tend to follow it. It's seems to follow you in your adult life, and you have all these toxic. Let's say if your household is toxic, you're gonna create a toxic household, and the idea is to break the cycle. You have to, even though your parents did, you can't do it with your kid. You have to break the cycle. If you grew up in a toxic household, you have to break that cycle. Because other words, your kid is gonna want to leave early before they're ready. Because that's what I said. Toxic families exist. It's like it's toxic friends, it's toxic families. That's why you have to be mindful what your kids see, because you have to show your kids love and stuff. Because if you don't show your kids love and affection, they're gonna go into the wrong company and they're gonna wind up hurt or something, or something bad will happen to them. So just Make sure you tell your kids you love them and show them plenty of affection and stuff like that. Their physical, psychological problems. Research has revealed that around 50% of mental health disorders that adults have begin at the age of 14. In fact, 1/3 of teenager deaths are surrounded by suicide triggers by depression. If your child is over movie and not eating well or sleeping at night, it's possible to get your child professional help for them. The most common mental health disorders observed during teenagers are anxiety and mood disorders, because your kids get mood swings once they get into teenage years. So you got to make sure they're okay. Just check on them. And girls seem to get more moody than boys do. So teens might have self-esteem issues or confidence issues. The feeling of often they feel a way about their appearance around this early age. Because the tweens, like, you have to start talking to your kids like around now through until they all the way into their teenage years. Because when you start talking to them early, it bring on that they should the kid know without you're not gonna judge them, and you're always gonna be there to support them, and you never tell your child's business to anyone that you know that's gonna be running until if they business might get into somebody that's really not caring for them and stuff. Other words, that if your child tell you something of confidence, you gotta leave it between you and your kid. And until your kids accept their appearance of their body, skin tone, beauty, and figure, poor performance in academic and low IQ can demolish them. They can develop I'm not good enough attitude towards life. Depression is one of the most common psychological problems associated with teenage girls and boys. The stress and pressure of teenagers can create anxiety-related issues, but most swings can lead to a disorder. It can cause disorders for your teens. Most of the time, talking about problems, maintaining a healthy lifestyle can prevent the onset of depression. If your child is over moody or have a lot of mood swings, it's time to intervene and seek professional help if needed. If necessary, if your child is over moody, it's time to receive professional help for them if needed. Sometimes your teenage girls might not only be unhappy at home, but at school. So talk to your child's teachers, friends, to let them know if they're only acting this way at home, if they're moody and disorganized, if they're disorganized at home, at school and home as well. Also, that's cause for concern. Don't brush away their feelings. Let your kid know that you're always going to be there for them. That's also brushing out their feelings. Teenage feelings make things worse. Encourage them to continue to communicate with you. For this, you need to talk to them. If you think your child will not take it easy, talk to them in the car with a chance of recurse the conflict as fewer as you're not face to face. Okay, then guys, teenagers and young teens, we're going to talk about dating. Teenage life is already comes with a lot of problems and challenges. All of a sudden, an increase on the flows of sexual hormones inside the body makes it even worse. You might find your girl, your teenage son or guy falling for their first crush, and you might find them where they find when they weren't ready to have sex and stuff. You just have to sit down with them and get them to talk. A lot of teenage girls experience healthy crush at early age and love too. However, peer pressure changes time. The advantage of teenage girls and boys feeling that sex is naturally romantic relationship, even though at early ages, it's also since it's extremely confusing time for your teenage son or daughter. It's also important to explain to your young teenagers that him or her importance of taking the necessary procedures, including tell your kids to wear condoms, have safe sex. Tell them again, don't send no news out. Just tell them don't do nothing stupid. See, if you're not telling them, if they're not, or say they're not at the age where they're ready for kids, so just practice safe sex. Basically, wear condoms, guys. I know you might think it's cool to be raw talk, to not wear condoms and doing it raw, but that is very dangerous. It's how you catch all these diseases, and everybody sleeps with everybody, so you can easily catch the disease. So wear condoms and practice safe sex. And the importance of consent. Make sure that you give somebody consent. And don't go home with nobody while you drunk. Never leave your drink unattended. If you walk away for a minute and your drink is still there, just pour it out. Tell your young teenagers it is perfect alright to say no to sex. Educate your young teens and tween. Educate your young teens on the sex front. It's important for you to pass all relative information about sex and how to your young teenage son, young teenage daughter. Be open to discussing sex with your young teenage daughters and young teenage son. It's not nothing bad. Just let them know that it's important to have safe sex. Teach your young teenage daughters and sons to be safe and all about being safe. Also, you might not always be able to control his or her relationship. Let them know that you can't lay down they have to tell them they have to look at certain situations. You can't lay down with everybody because you might wind up with a bitter baby mama. You might wind up with a big bitter baby daddy. It's like you have to be mindful who you lay down with. If you're not ready for the baby, you just don't have sex yet. But if you are ready for if you're not ready to be if your kid is still in their early teenagers, you have to stick in their mind that they not ready. Tell them that they obviously are not ready to be a mother or father yet, and they should really be focused on school because people look on social media. They use these babies as props. They use the babies as props and stuff, and the other stuff, and they use the baby as props and with the matching out. But you have to. These people are giving you explain to your teenage. These people are giving you false hope that you have to actually take care of these babies. You can't just go out on Facebook and buy them, have them dressed up like accessories. You have to actually take care of these kids. And the more the kids you have, the more kids you have to take care of. And it is a lot of young, healthy teenage parents that are out there. But to make sure that just let your kids know to practice safe sex. I'm leaving it at that. And another thing is health issues. Teenagers are vulnerable to vulnerable and emotional and physical. Without proper nurture and health care, there are easy to get ill. According to 2015 WHO report, 1.3 million teens died in 2015. A major of them have pre-disease diseases that they hop from one another activity to another without time to rest, eat, or to rest, time to eat or rest properly. That's why you have to. It's okay to be in a program, but let your team know that they have to get proper rest and sleep, and don't try to join too many clubs or too many activities at one time. Don't burn yourself out. Eating unhealthy eating habits prevent them from getting the nutrition that they need. And they're at their age, they have their body issues, and they feel ways because people are saying stuff. It leads to eating disorders, especially with girls. Teenage girls worry about their weight and appearance can easily be developed eating disorders. Breast can also lose a lot of appetite and sleepless in your young teens and tweens. Unhealthy eating habits and less active lifestyle can also lead to obesity. This often the case when your child consumes a lot of empty carbs through fast foods and sodas. Parenting guidance can help adapt healthy eating problems in young teens and tweens' lives. To manage a healthier lifestyle, lead by example and encouraging your young child to eat healthier food, exercise right, sleep on time. Encourage them to get nutrition through their meals. Give them a balanced diet. Be there for them emotionally and physical, as it will help them to deal with any possible disorder. And then the final advice is going to be about educational challenges. High school is not all about fight. High school. Listen, I'm young teenagers that are just into high school. This is for all the teenagers. Spread this video to every teenager and young teen that you know, guys. Please. High school is not all about fashion, friends, parties. Child have a lot of education activities on their plate. Pressure to perform academically and attain college admission can be stressful and make your teen boys and girls moody. Juggling school, work, extracurricular activities must for college admission. Chores at home can be tiring. Distractions at school can result in poor academic performance, which adds to pressure. Support your child aspires for college education as well. They need that encouragement from you, parents. Make sure you support your young teens. Y'all can cut down on their house chores so they're able to focus on their school projects when needed. Nutritional and exercising help them get the strength they need to grow through the high school period. Because high school is tough, guys. Because everybody just finding themselves really. Because freshman year everybody is friends, but when you get into them other years, you see a lot of people fall out in them years. You're not hanging with the same people that you're hanging with freshman year that you are in sophomore, junior year, and senior year. Your groups tend to change. And this is solid advice, so y'all listen up. This is real life advice. Y'all listen up. Y'all can either take it or y'all can take it or leave it. But this is real life advice. I'm not giving y'all no wrong advice. I'm giving y'all all right advice. If you feel that your child is getting overwhelmed with his or her daily activities, cut down a few tasks, because teens still don't have the lung capacity of an adult. and get tired sooner than a grown-up person would. Support your child aspirations for college and education as needed for the encouragement. Well, they need you to encourage them. Y'all can cut down on your teens' chores to make sure they finish their homework and project. Nutrition, and all that. You can just cut down on the stuff because the teens can get tired easily, just like I said. Teens, just like with kids and stuff. Teen, Teens can handle a lot like how adults would handle it, and just like we was talking about with the your brain still developing until you're 25, so a lot of stuff you can't handle when you're that young, especially in your teenage years, because your brain is not fully function yet. If you feel like your teenagers and tweens are getting overwhelmed, cut down a few tasks, because teenagers don't have the lung capacity to go and get tired sooner than a grown-up person would. And with that being said, y'all just go talk to your young teens and tweens about all of what I said. You them, and just everybody share this video to every teen and young adult young teen and teenager that is out there, and let them know let them know that teenage years are hard, but you go through a lot of phases, but you gonna still make it. If you do all the right stuff. And with that being said, Resse Resse podcast is out. Remember, if you just work hard, you deserve to treat yourself. We're here for a good time, not a long time. With that being said, peace out.